Bottle is the latest full-length album from Pentagram, a Washington, D.C. and Maryland area doom metal legend, as well as a consistent figure in heavy rock and heavy metal since the late 70s. There's a lot of personality behind this band, and I think it's important that any new release from this record really showcases that persona, which of course Bobby Liebling. From day one, from the first song you might have ever heard from him, to the very oldest basement demos, to a modern record like this, he's always showcased a strong sense of melody and introspection. I think that beyond the special elements of bands like Black Sabbath and whatnot, we find that his work is often more personal, is much more honest, and creates a sense of both the macabre as well as his own clever personality, which is not always so serious. I'm not going to go over 50 years of history. I think that there are certainly highlights in this band's discography, and they should be obvious. If you have any taste in traditional doom metal, you'll probably look to the late 80s with records like Day of Reckoning. If you're looking for something that is a little bit more heavy rock or even stoner rock, their output in the 90s and 2000s generally pushes into that arena and still focuses on a lot of the classic songs that he'd written back in the 70s. And that's kind of carried through to their return beyond the 2010s. That's where we are now, and this is about the third full-length album that we've gotten since they came back, and it is also the third reconfiguration of the band. So first, what we'll do is get to a song, and then I'll talk more about what's special about this record, what's new, and what should and shouldn't have changed here.
I spoke to death last night. He wore a nightmare gown, and when I spoke your name.
So the big deal here is that they've once again restaffed Pentagram. I have my favorite musicians in their entire lineage, and none of them have necessarily returned here. This is a fully new lineup, and it includes Tony Reed of Most Generator, as well as St. Vitus drummer Henry Vasquez. I don't know that influences its sound so strongly beyond clearly the talents of Reed, who has a very specific sound that he brings to all of his projects and is interested in progressive rock and heavy rock just as much as any form of metal, if not more. So we do get more of a heavy rock record out of Pentagram this time around, and not in the sense that we did from Curious Volume. This is less of a stony project and more of a doom rock, if you will, feeling kind of thing, with some desert rock in some of the later songs. Side A is all hits. It's all big songs. All of them are catchy, and it's just pure Liebling seeping through every pore. It's a really strong representation of Pentagram's personality, and they purposely put all the best songs up front. It just all hits perfectly on side A. I have no complaints about any of it, even the weird parts. That's my favorite thing about the band. They're kind of weird. Then we get to side B, and it's not boring, but there just isn't as much interest there for me. I feel like these songs are, I hate to say it, they're a little bit more generic in their instrumentation. There really isn't a lot of big hooks there. There are a few, but it does feel like we're hitting upon something close to a stock groove. And the only thing worse than putting out a bad record is putting out kind of a boring moment that carries on so long. So it doesn't wreck the experience for me, but there's no part of side B that I look forward to hear anywhere near as much as I do all of the songs on side A. And it creates a big ravine of interest, if you will. I'm definitely biased in the sense that I thought Last Rites was the perfect comeback for the band, and not everyone agrees with me on that, but it is such a memorable record front to back, and it doesn't feel like they keyed into all hits this time around. It feels like we're just getting a lot of maybes and just all right pieces. It's just not up to the standard that I was expecting after Last Rites, but it is a little bit in line with Curious Volume. So if that's more your preference, I think there'll be a lot of that you'll enjoy there on the second half of this record. Otherwise, I couldn't really complain about Pentagram ever returning. They're a solid band. Liebling is just one of the bigger, more charismatic personalities you want to see on stage, and I think that it's good that this this record brings that life back. It's like I say here in the review, he's still got it. And I think that's the important point to make here, is that you're coming to Pentagram for this guy and what he brings to music. And he still has that, from my point of view. See what you think. Check it out. It released on January 31st. And go ahead and read my review for more in-depth thoughts on the whole thing.
You don't know me. Yeah, I wanna live again.